What I'm going to start with on these doors today is cutting this line, because when I look down at this being angled up is kind of giving the optical illusion of them not being as lined up as they are. Also, I need to get these bottom hinges out further than even we got them with that little hole in the door jamb. We're going to have to open that up even a little more to get that hinge out a little further, so to get those bottoms lined up. And then we can start on working on this structure between these doors. But I want it to, you know, end of the day, you want it to look right, and so that's where we're going to start.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
We're going to keep each one of these pieces so we can get this backing plate off and put it behind the door handle when we get that far. I want to bring these bottoms of these doors out, but I'm already coming through here, and so I need to come further through there if I want to bring that hinge out. So I think I'm gonna make plates to go, shims to go underneath the hinges on the bottom here, so I can just space that door out a little bit. I think that's going to be a little better than moving that hinge out further. So I've got some strap here, so I'll just do out my pattern of my holes and cut it, drill all the holes, and then cut the shims, and we'll see how one does, and then we'll go from there. So we use 2 on this one and 1 on this one, so I'll make 2 more in case we need them for 2 more for that one. It seems to be kind of working. Alright, so I got those bottoms pretty close. I want to start making our filler in here, that like the inside of our jamb there, and I'd like it to be even. The ones on the original weren't. I'd like to see what I can do with that. I might put like a piece on the inside and then do a little hat channel for the outside. Kind of my idea. Don't know how that'll work, but we're gonna find out. So we got this back door off here. There's the spot welds for the piece that goes to the original cowling. And then there's this piece here, which is the original cab corner skin. And then there's this lip that pops out that was a piece for strength and rigidity in that cab corner. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to cut it off here and get rid of that, and then I'd like to take the spot welds out of here, spot welds off of here, and clean off those pieces instead of going over the top of them, because these are just kind of unnecessary pieces. The pieces that I want to make are what those were, kind of. I got this clean and this clean, but you can see they're still not even with each other. Seems like this piece is more even with this inner piece here, and so I think I'm going to cut this off here and then span from there to there. Does take a little bit of the rigidity out of here because we're losing a flange there, but I'm not too worried about it. I think after we get this capped, it's going to be pretty strong. Plus we're going to cap the inside, so I think we'll be fine. but a little more cutting. All right, now that's even enough to work with there. So we're just gonna do a piece, 18 gauge, spans this piece, comes up here. Where this edge fades off and goes into the latch, it'll have to tuck back and come in here, but that'll be easy. We're just gonna transfer from here to here and you know, keep going. This piece will also be able to work it over this hinge that's coming out here too. So get a little more use out of it. Alright. A little better than that. At least I got some connection here. What I'd like to do is I'll obviously have to mess with the gap and do some gapping and even be adding some onto this door maybe. But what I'd like to do is do an even piece through here, you know, and hopefully even up through the top even. So right down here, looking like maybe 1.5 inches. Give us an 1/8 on each side. Looks like 1.5 inches. So let's build up a hat channel. Okay, we're gonna make a hat channel, and I have to have my little cheat sheet here. You bend this one, this one, this one, this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that goes? So you're gonna bend this outside one, and then bend the inside one. Inside, outside, outside, inside. So now I need to get it to curve where we need it to curve. And since we have 2 bends here, we're not going to be able to use the shrinker. So it's just going to have to be cut and then bent on this flat surface here. And so what I want to do, kind of go along the door here and mark where we're gonna cut. So that kind of marks, if you can see them, and we'll cut them on both sides. So it just take the cutoff wheel through these, boop, 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 through the angle there, and then we'll be able to bend it, and then we'll have to weld those up all the way through, but it'll let us do this in one piece anyways. So I've added some weld onto the door here to straighten it out, and I'm liking some of it. Some of it's kind of hit and miss. The lines seem to fade off, even on the going up to that stock one. It's still kind of fading off on the door. That might need to be cut, you know, cut this and then bring this line up a little. You know, it's kind of a start. The in and out of it, I'd like to change a little bit. I'll probably cut a section out of here and redo this whole section where it curves a little nicer with the door. Everything else is okay. You know, we did this a 1/2 inch out, and I probably should have gone 1/8 more. So what is that, 5/8? The top turned out pretty good, but of course I was able to manipulate that a little better with doing the 2 pieces and then welding it. And maybe that's just the way I should be doing this instead of trying to do the hat channel. But it is a lot of welding down through that piece in order to do that, which would take time. So I might just try to do it with, you know, adding 1/8 there. And maybe go to 3/4. But at any rate, I'd like to make this little piece just to do it, and then move on to the next one.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.